What's up guys, welcome to Streem Outdoors. Guys, we are so pumped. We just went up to a high mountain lake up in Idaho. We're just getting back. We want to share a few tips and techniques that helped us find some more fish. A lot of people love the high mountain lakes. They love this time of year. Honestly, it's awesome. So fly selection, think about what the trout are eating this time of year, and obviously up in the high mountains there's not a ton of hatches that happen, and the hatches that do happen, keep in mind they're pretty small. The flies that come off, any mayflies or anything like that, they're going to be coming off pretty small. So when you guys put some dry flies in your box, think small, size 16 to 20. It's not all the case, but I found that most cases they're usually pretty small hatches. Even if you get a hatch. So besides the mayflies, there's a lot of caddis that usually come off, and then think terrestrial. You have your hoppers, your ants, your beetles, anything like that. I've seen it both ways. Some fish are really picky. It kind of depends on how much pressure too. If you're going to a high mountain lake that has say a 2 or 3 mile hike, chances are it's going to be fished pretty heavily. If you get into the high mountain lakes that are a little bit further in, sometimes those fish aren't as selective. Here are the flies that I picked out. First up's the Pico Spider. You'll find this at anglers in Boise. It's an awesome fly. I highly recommend it for any terrestrial fishing, any creek, river, any time during August through early September. This one's a go-to. The next is a parachute hopper. I love this one because it's more lifelike, it's a little bit more realistic, I feel like, and it sits up really high, floats really well. You can put a dropper behind it. Next up's the Royal Wulff. This one's one of my go-tos as well in the summertime. It floats really nicely. Fish seem to really love it. Give it a shot. The next one is a flying ant, cinnamon ant. I like the little antron on there. Gives it some color on the top so you can see it. That's a really good one to trail behind your Royal Wulff or your hopper. You have your purple Haze. This is kind of an Adams style. The next one is a CDC Caddis. That's a favorite. You have your parachute Adams. Again, just imitates really any mayfly or anything that's really coming off. Size 18. Okay, for nymph wise, I've done really well on chironomids. Again, think small, size 18. So any chironomid, I usually like black, brown, olive. Hares Ear is a really good one. Sometimes these lakes will have scuds in them, so if they do, Hares Ear is a great pattern to imitate that. Pheasant tail, again, just your standard mayfly nymph. And then I like the Rainbow Warrior. Gives a little bit flash, and it kind of an attractor, but also kind of imitate, you know, any scud or anything like that. There's the lineup of flies. Also, one thing that's not on here that I want to mention is a balanced leech. Keep it pretty small, but sometimes if they're really picky, I'll put a little balanced leech, either black or brown. Put that under an indicator about 10 feet down. That usually tends to pick up some fish if they're not hitting the dries in the nymphs. As far as the setup goes, it's really your preference. Keep in mind you are backpacking, so I like to try and keep it as minimal as possible, as lightweight as possible. So I typically carry with me either a 3 or 4 weight, either 7.5 foot up to 8.5 foot, but I've also carried my 9 foot 5 weight with me. That's what I carried up with me into this last lake. It worked really good. It has its advantages. I feel like you can cast a lot further with the 5 weight up there, but again, it's a little bit heavier. So you kind of have to outweigh what you want and what your preference is. 9 foot 5 weight, medium fast action, usually gets the job done, and then just size the reel with whatever rod that you're going to use. As far as line goes, I always throw on a floating line, and then I usually do about a 9 foot 4X leader. I keep my tippet usually pretty small. A lot of these high mountain lakes are very clear, at least most of the ones that I've been to. I always use fluorocarbon, 4X, 5X, or 6X. I usually don't bring anything larger or anything smaller than that. Typically, most of the time I'm using 5X. I feel like it's heavy enough, but then it's also light enough, and I don't feel like it's going to interfere with much. Guys, if you like that video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We have a lot more coming your way, and go ahead and leave us a comment as well. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.